Wow, 2020 is almost over. This has been the longest year of my life by far. And I know it's been a long year for all of you. I want to say thank you to anybody who's watched the video or subscribed. I hit over 300 subscribers this year, which is not a big deal to most, but it's a big deal to me. So thank you. I really appreciate it. Every year I try to go to the movies more and more. And unfortunately, this year I wasn't able to. Theaters closed in March and they haven't reopened up here. So I watched a lot of streaming stuff, a lot of Netflix, Amazon Prime, some movies I had to rent, some movies I had to, purchase to watch. But this is my top five favorite movies of the year. And I'm probably going to do a separate list of five things that I watched this year that I just really enjoyed and want you to check out. But, I hope you enjoy this list. Hello, welcome to Just My Thoughts. I'm your host, Khaleel Ward. On this episode, I'll be talking about my five favorite movies of the year. I would have came out with this earlier, but I had to wait and see the movies that came out on Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody. I hope you have a great 2021. I hope you had a great holiday, enjoying it, social distancing, of course. But let's get into my list real quick. My honorable mention is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. It's on Netflix. It's Chadwick Boseman's last performance. It's also starring Viola Davis. And I'll leave a link to my review, for that movie. And every movie I talk about, I'll leave a link to, the review of it. I don't want to go into too much detail on each movie because then this video will be like 15 minutes long and I don't want to edit that. So number five for me, and I just watched it. I watched it twice. It's Soul, the Disney Pixar movie starring Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey, Felicia Rashad. It was directed by Pete Docter, who also directed Inside Out and Up. And it's about a guy named Joe. He's a jazz musician slash middle school band teacher. And something happens where he needs to get back to Earth, to get back to his body, to get back to his life, to his passion of playing music. And on the journey, he comes across this soul, this new soul, Soul 22, played by Tina Fey. And that soul doesn't really want to go to Earth. And they work together and they just find out a lot about each other. Joe finds out a lot about himself, and certain things in his life that he wasn't too sure about. And Tina Fey's character, she kind of gets a better understanding of what life what life is like on Earth. So it's a very cool movie. Again, it's made for the kids because it's animated, but there's a lot of messages for adults in it, and I really enjoyed it, and I love animated movies. Moving on to number four is probably the most confusing movie of the year. It's Tenet. I purchased it recently again on Amazon Prime. It stars John David Washington, Robert Pattinson. It's directed by Christopher Nolan. And I'm going to do a separate breakdown of how I really feel about Tenet maybe in the new year. I've watched it 4 times. I have an understanding of it the way I see it. But to keep it simple and short, a CIA agent tries to stop a guy from starting World War III. That's the simple thing, A guy is trying to stop another guy. Yes, there happens to be a play on time, but I'm not going to get into that here because it'll be too confusing for certain people. Moving on, number three. And this movie I saw in the theater 3 or 4 times, when I could go to the theater. So this was back in February. It's called The Photograph. And I believe right now you can watch it on HBO Max. It stars Lakeith Stanfield, Issa Rae. It was directed by Stella McGee. And it's basically following Stanfield. He's a writer. And he falls in love with the daughter of a photographer he's writing about. The photographer has passed away, but he comes across the daughter and he's just like really interested immediately. And it's Black love. And it's a beautiful story. There's no unnecessary drama. That's what I loved about it. It wasn't like there's another woman or another guy. Like there's mention of the woman, but you don't see him. There's no interaction with these other people that may have been mentioned. And I like that. I like that it was just, two people falling for each other and trying to figure it out. They didn't have all the answers, and it wasn't just like, she walks in and he's kissing another girl and he has to chase her down, and they fight, but then they eventually end up together. This is straight romance. It's no drama in it, and the music was incredible. The actors were incredible. It was just fun seeing a different side of Issa, and I just enjoyed it. I honestly I love this movie. Number two is a smaller film. It's called Shithouse. I rented it on Amazon Prime. It stars Cooper Rafe, Dylan Gawila, and it's written and directed by Cooper himself. And it's his first movie. It did good at South by Southwest, but of course the pandemic happened and everything was shut down, so the movie didn't get put out there like that. And I heard about it, I watched it, and I was like blown away. It follows this kid named Alex. He's homesick at college. He's having that freshman experience. He doesn't really have a lot of friends. He doesn't really want to go out and drink. And he starts talking to his RA and he falls for her, but it just doesn't go smoothly. He's really into her, but she's like, I'm not sure what I want yet. And he basically learns and grows and adapts to college life. Like a lot of us had to go through, our freshman year. And, he starts opening up and meeting new people and, getting new friends and not relying so much on his mom and sister at home. He used to always call them, and, now he was just navigating through life. And it just takes you back to that college, that freshman year of college, where it's just like, wow, what am I going to do? And I really, really highly recommend this movie. It's called Shithouse. Again, it's on Amazon Prime. I rented it. I want to buy it, and I really, really enjoyed it. Number one for me, it's another movie that is probably small and didn't get out there a lot because of the pandemic. Never, rarely, sometimes, always. And I believe this one is available right now on HBO Max. I rented it earlier this year on Amazon Prime, but I believe it's on HBO Max right now. It stars Sydney Flanagan, Talia Ryder, and it was directed by Eliza Hittman. And this movie is just quiet, but very powerful. You follow this character named Autumn. She gets pregnant. She's in high school, and she doesn't really have a support system around her at home. Just the way they talk to her, they talk about her. She can't go to them, about this situation. So she goes with her cousin, and I think they live in like the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, and they get on a bus and they go to New York, and they go to New York for an abortion. And it's a quiet movie, but it's very emotional. And just seeing these teens in New York City at nighttime at Port Authority, if you live in New York, you know what that's like. And they are trying to get an abortion. And she doesn't have a lot of money. They don't have a lot of, they don't know where they're going to stay. They're spending the nights on a train. And it's so emotional. And in movies in particular, when they mention the name of the movie, I really enjoy it. But they actually say the name of the movie in this movie, and it's just a different feeling. It's when you find out what the meaning of the movie is, it hits different. And it's something that I don't think a lot of people have watched, but it's something that people should check out. The performances are really well done by the two young ladies, and just showing the atmosphere of New York City, at a time like that, where it's you unsure about things. You see some of the weird things that the city has to offer. You see some of the good things the city has to offer. But just watching the journey of this particular girl, it's heartbreaking at times. Just seeing what she has to deal with. And the big decisions she has to make at such a young age with really no support around her. So those are my top 5 movies of the year. Soul, Tenet, The Photograph, Shithouse, Never, Really, Sometimes, Always. Please check out all the reviews of these movies. I'm going to leave them down below. I might even have the cards pop up as well. But I hope you check them out. I hope I hope you enjoy these recommendations. If you've seen some of these movies, let me know what you thought about them. Let me know your top 5. please write it in the comments. Your top 5 movies of the year. Again, 2020 is almost over. Let's go into the new year. Let's have a better 2021. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.